The time is now to architect a life of excellence. What will we do? Who will we become? We decide today. This is Learn, Do, Become Radio with April and Eric Perry. Let's move onward and upward together.
Hello, welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio. I'm April, here with my husband, Eric.
Hello, I'm Eric, and I'm excited to be with you.
Today, we are doing the first of 5 podcasts introducing Arise, and we are going to tell you what Arise actually stands for.
A-R-I-S-E, Arise is going to be awesome. That didn't rhyme.
Okay, but we're talking about the concept of anchoring. A is for anchor, and today we're going to talk about how we're going to anchor in our values. So I want to start out by just sharing a little bit about some conversations that Eric and I have had lately. Sometimes we talk about why do we either exhaust ourselves or sometimes we just feel paralyzed and we don't move forward on anything. Sometimes we swing to one end of the spectrum or the other. And sometimes we doubt ourselves. And then sometimes we expect ourselves to do more than is humanly possible. And we are ready to be done with these kinds of conversations.
Because we're certain we're the only ones that have that conversation. Like, you've never had those conversations in your head or with people you love, right? We're the only ones who sometimes exhaust ourselves, feel paralyzed, doubt ourselves, expect more than is possible. We're the only ones.
And I think that it's really, really common to drift from one thing to the next, or people talk about the shiny object syndrome. Because obviously there's a lot more information coming at us every day than there was coming at our parents or any generation prior to that, there's a lot of overwhelm. And Eric and I feel it too. I mean, we really work hard to be focused. And obviously here at Learn to Become, we teach a lot about that focus and how you set up systems for that. But because we live in a world that has a lot of excitement, a lot of opportunity, and a lot of comparison or potential for comparison, it really isn't always easy. But we're going to share 3 ideas today that have worked really well for us to help us to get back on track. And it's okay if we're not perfect at it. It's just that we're moving forward, and we're really hopeful that these ideas will not only give you some instant success, but as you listen and as you hear what we're really excited to share, we hope that you will feel encouraged about joining us in Arise, which will be launching soon.
Absolutely.
Now, a lot of you know that I am really passionate about having a command central on every desk. This is something that I literally dream about at night. I wake up in the morning thinking, how can I help people to build command centrals? I talk to people about it all day. I mean, this is my passion because I know what a difference it makes in helping you get out of piles and get out of overwhelm and just know how to process papers and file papers. And I know I sound really nerdy when I say
We're
that.
not sure if it's a disorder we should have her checked in on, but it's a little concerning how much she loves it and how much she talks about it.
But even yesterday, Eric and I were at this conference and I was taking notes and I'm looking around because I'm wondering, other people are taking notes too. But I get so excited to be able to go home and extract the tasks from the notes and know how to put those into Evernote and how to make those notes actually influence my life, right?
Yes, that does sound nerdy. And not everybody's going to resonate with that, but there are many who do.
Okay, so building a command central is still a passion of mine, but what's happening is as we've helped thousands and thousands of people to also build command centrals, then we get emails saying, okay, so I have way more time now and brain space than I've ever had in my life.
This is a good problem to have, by the way.
What do I do next? I don't even remember what it feels like to dream. I want to do something with this energy. What would you suggest? Do you guys have any guidance? And that's what Arise is going to be. And we're thrilled about that. Now, if someone's already kind of organized in a different way and wants to join us in Arise, awesome. If you're seriously drowning right now, I'm suggesting that you get through our STEP program and build your command central.
And STEP stands for Steps to Everyday Productivity for those who might be less aware of it. But it's an amazing program April's built to kind of help people get out of the overwhelm, out of the just anxiety and just too much coming at you, and build a very simple system to get your feet under you, your life organized, your head on straight. And the results that have come from the community of people who've been in that program have been amazing.
The ideas that we're going to be sharing today can absolutely be implemented even if you aren't 100% organized. But we found that it's easier to think bigger and to be able to focus on your values and goals and really what you want to become when your brain isn't spinning in circles thinking about clutter.
Yeah, we found when people are organized, they have their foundations firmly under them, they really do have more time, more headspace, more energy to decide, okay, now I'm ready to pursue the life that I want. And that's what gets me really excited to learn to become, because we want to have people without foundation, but then we want to see people just flourish and thrive, right? Arise is all about that, where they can start to architect the life of excellence they want. Everyone is architecting a unique, very personal life that's more in alignment with what they've kind of hoped and dreamed of their whole lives since childhood and into adulthood. So we want to really help with this community to foster that interaction, dialogue, a few very basic exercises and activities as we go forward together to really help people define and then move into more of that lifestyle.
And as you're getting excited thinking, well, I want to learn more about this, go to learndobecome.com/arise. And you can opt in, get on our wait list, or once we have our initial resources up there, you'll get those immediately. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about this anchoring.
Well, do you want to tell them what ARISE stands for?
Are we telling them all 5 right now?
I don't know. Do we want to I guess maybe we can tease it. We'll just start with the A today, and then it'll make you want to hear the RISE.
Well, the word arise has meant a lot to me for maybe 15 years. I've been talking with you about this. I mean, a long time.
And it just means something to April, not me. Just April.
To Eric too, but there's been some special things that have been really meaningful to me. And as I was thinking about what type of program I would want to create and build and what kind of community I'd want to continue to nurture, this concept just kept coming back to me. And I was thinking, it'd be really fun if it had an acronym, but I wasn't just going to come up with any random words and just throw them in. I wanted it to be something meaningful. So I actually sat down and went through this thesaurus and looked for all these different types of words that, started with ARISE, and found 5 that really resonated with me and with Eric. And that
there are 5 words that start with ARISE?
No, 1 for each, dear.
Oh, you took ARISE and then you found the words that would fit the acronym.
Yes.
That makes more sense. Continue.
Okay. All right. So A is for anchor. Ready?
Anchoring.
Okay.
Putting that foundation, that kind of footing under you.
Okay. So we talked a little bit about how we don't want to drift, how we don't want to have shiny object syndrome, and how we don't want to get really excited about things and then just drop it. I find a lot of people say, I get started with something and I get really into a project or thinking, I could do something, and then it just kind of falls apart. We don't want that in our lives. We want to actually be anchored in what matters most to us and then move forward. So a couple just things to think about. One is thinking about a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly. We actually got some of those little caterpillars by mail that you can have transform into a butterfly and then let it free. And one of the first things that these caterpillars did was, obviously they were eating for a while and growing.
Eating a lot.
But then they climbed up to the top of the little container and they anchored. They found one spot where they were going to sit and they were going to transform. That is really important because if you're thinking about it, I want to make a huge transformation in my life. That can't happen while you're just blown in the wind or going all over the place. So that's super important. Also thinking about a mountain climber.
Because we have a lot of experience as mountain climbers, both of us, tons of it.
Well, I've done some rappelling, but you do have to be anchored. And so, why are you looking at me like that?
It's a great analogy. We have next to zero experience mountain climbing.
Okay.
But you can see how being anchored firmly as you're going up or down a very steep cliff could be very important. So you're not floating, drifting, falling, dying. So
the anchoring here is about being firm in our values, what we want out of life, and what we actually plan to do with the years we have here. I think of this question often. What do I want to say with my life? Now, maybe you just pause for a moment and think about your own life. Think about how things are going right now. If you were to take the way you've been living over the past 30 days, let's say, and then you were to repeat that over and over again until your life came to a close, is that what you would want to say with your life? And it's been helpful for me to think about that because then I can make shifts and I can pivot and I can make decisions to improve or to make things better where we want to leave a legacy. We want to live a life where we can look back and think, that was amazing.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good exercise because I think you're right. The last 30 days, last 60 days are a pretty good indicator of what the next 30 or 60 days are probably going to look like. It's not just a repeating pattern. It's kind of our trajectory. It's kind of the habits and things that we're doing, systematically. And I think, yeah, that's a great question. It'll be actually one of the central questions of this kind of podcast. What do we want to say with our lives? And are we intentional about that? And that's one of the major points of what Arise, this anchoring idea, and Arise is going to be about, ongoing conversations about, okay, and that might change over the stages of our lives, but what legacy, what message do we want to communicate with our lives?
But in the midst of everyday craziness, sometimes we don't know how to anchor. You're thinking, yeah, but I've got to go to work, or I've got to take care of kids, or I've got community things, or somebody is sick. And you're bouncing around thinking, well, sure, it'd be nice if I could just sit down and have some quiet. But
it's impossible.
So today, we're just sharing a few ideas that will help you. So the challenge is for you to listen to these ideas and either take them or tweak them to meet your own needs. But get some quiet time and actually think through this process, because I promise it's going to make an impact on you. Okay, so the 3 things we're going to share today. One is we're going to talk about the Personal Hall of Fame. Second, we're going to talk a little bit about the hedgehog concept,
Hedgehogs
which
are
we'll
fun.
explain in a minute. And then third, we're going to share how you could create a daily reminders note.
A very simple note to remind you about what you're about and what you're going into day by day.
Let's start with the Personal Hall of Fame. This is something that Eric introduced to me. I'd never even thought about the concept, but do you want to share what that means?
Yeah, it's something we've kind of actually introduced in our life architecture and kind of program that we opened up last year as a beta. But it's actually an amazing concept that I've actually realized was helpful to me when I was younger, and I've revisited it over the years. It does a couple of things, really. It gives you an ability to identify people in your life, real or imagined, fictionary or historical figures you've maybe never had an interaction with, but characters that you become aware of or interacted with in your life that you really admire, that have qualities or attributes that you value and appreciate. So as you go through this, you actually get to look at who are the people that you admire. So it kind of gives you tangible and kind of embodiments of these things. But then you also, as you go through and identify those people, the exercise is one, it's very simple. You write down those people's names in a variety of categories that will kind of prompt you on. And then off to the right side of that, you write down, 1 or 2 key values or attributes that you really admire about those people. What's cool about this exercise, and we'll kind of have these resources available to you, but you can cover the list of names on the left, and what you've actually done on the right with those values or attributes is you've defined in a very personified way the things that are most meaningful, most valuable to you. So it actually gives you, again, a good, solid anchoring to see in a tangible way what values, what attributes, what characteristics, what achievements do I really value most and what I maybe want to incorporate more into my life. So it's really kind of cool. I actually had an idea this morning as I knew we would be recording this, that as we go through this Personal Hall of Fame and Arise, kind of as an extension of life architecture, there might actually be a simple template we'll actually pre-create where you could actually just fill in some blanks and send like a note of appreciation to some of these people who are actually alive, because everybody wants to do something kind or kind of like go back and let someone know that they were influential on them, right? And I think we're busy, like, oh, I'd love to do that, but I'll never get around to it. But what if you did this simple exercise and then you could just print out 2 or 3 sheets with like some film, almost like Mad Libs. Like we kind of pre-write some stuff. We're just saying, hey, I'm going through a class or an activity here that's allowed me to identify people who have been influential in my life, and they've, we could put some language in there that you could then say down below. A couple of things that really inspired me or touched me were this, and so we kind of actually have a fun little add-on that people can very quickly print, write, and either send electronically or send via mail to the people who were part of this Personal Hall of Fame. So not to make this too long a discussion on the Hall of Fame, but it's just a powerful exercise that you can go through very quickly. We'll kind of lay it out for you. But in 10 or 15 minutes, you can really reflect back on these people who have influenced you or people who you admire. What is it about them you admired? And then that becomes, that little piece of paper or that PDF will become something that really does anchor you more to those values, attributes, and achievements in life that you'd like to strive toward and have more part of your own life.
And this is the pattern that we're generally going to be following as we move forward, that as we come on the podcast, we'll be sharing different concepts and ideas. And then if you want the worksheets or templates, or you want more coaching or support, that's what Arise is going to give to you. So if you're thinking, well, I just want to apply this idea today, what could I do today? You can just get out a piece of paper. On the left-hand side, write down the names of people that you admire. On the right-hand side, write what you admire about them. There you have a great list. I mean, I think of someone right now who I absolutely admire. I mean, I follow her on social media. I listen to everything that's out on video. I love everything that she creates.
She's just a well-grounded
awesome.
rock star.
And then if I were just to write her name down and then write down all the things that I love about her, that gives me a really clear way to see what I value.
Start with just 2 or 3 things that you admire so it doesn't feel like this overwhelming exercise. We want to make it very simple. Like in Arise, we want this to be a month-to-month type experience where you're able to go through and do a few things simply that just bring you closer and closer and closer to the person you really want to become over time. Kind of a simple, guided effort to help us become what we're meant to become.
Yeah, so that's one way to anchor, really creating this personal Hall of Fame. A second way to anchor is to put some serious time into identifying your hedgehog. Now, this comes from Jim Collins' book. Jim Collins, doesn't Aaliyah have a dorm mate who has a hedgehog?
She does. So. It's their emotional support animal. And I'm like, that's a brilliant emotional support animal.
She's like, it's not really my emotional support animal, but that's what I had to say to get to bring him to college. So
you probably shouldn't have recorded that. So if we don't know anything about the details of this thing. I just told Aaliyah, though, you've got to go find this person. You've got to go meet the hedgehog and send me a picture.
So funny. Okay, so yes.
Hedgehogs.
So Jim Collins wrote a book called Good to Great. And one of the chapters in the book, well, each of the chapters in the book talks about what businesses have done who have had huge transformations.
Over a sustained period of time, they've gone from really good companies to amazing, exceptional companies.
So they researched these amazing companies and then found commonalities and then wrote a book. So essentially they said, you want to know what's in the black box? What is it that takes a company from good to great? Well, that's what this book is. It tells you what's in the black box. So good. I have it on audio and I have the hard copy book and it's amazing. But one of my favorite chapters that I read probably 10, 12 years ago, it was a long time ago, talks about the concept of finding your hedgehog. And he refers to the fable about the fox and the hedgehog. And I've never actually seen a fox try to attack a hedgehog or anything like that.
Nor would we want to, because hedgehogs are adorable.
But they said the fox tries a lot of different methods. So the fox is running all around and trying to come at the hedgehog.
Lots of tactics. Lie in wait, hide, surprise it, whatever it can do.
And the hedgehog does one thing very well. It gets up in a little ball. And
it survives.
It survives.
It survives by doing one thing. I roll into a ball, I protect myself till the fox goes away, then I unroll and go about my life. But my one key skill
one thing it does
is rolling into a ball and surviving.
And I actually would like to see a video of this or something like that, or how not the fox attacking them, but
you're like violent and vicious as a person.
What it looks like. I really don't even know.
You just want to see a hedgehog ball up?
I want to see a hedgehog.
You know what we should do that's even better?
What?
Find that person's emotional support animal and say, can we play with your hedgehog for a bit? I bet he'll ball up.
Let's do it. So what Jim Collins was trying to say with all of this is that you need to find what's that one thing that you can focus on, that you can do really well. And it needs to have at least 3 facets, which he features in the book. So first is it needs to be something that you are truly passionate about. Second, needs to be something that can drive your financial engine.
If you're doing it as a business purpose.
Right. And then third, it needs to be something that you feel you could be best in the world at doing.
Now that phrase is actually very concerning to a lot of people. I have to be the best in the whole wide world. I think a better translation of it might be you could be considered one of the best in the world. Someone that many people, a marketplace, a community, a group of people would consider you to be very expert in, that they would come to you.
But I think you can niche down and you could say, I am the best.
I think a lot of humans will actually have a block to that, feeling like that's very egotistical. I don't want to say I'm the very, very big.
Okay, but let me give an example because, I know there are a ton of professional organizers out in the world, and there are a ton of awesome organizers out in the world. There's a whole society of organizers. I mean, people are very serious about this. And there's a lot of people who are way better than I am at knowing, what's the right type of bins to use in your pantry? Or how do you make your closet look beautiful? Or how do you organize toys? I mean, there are people who just know how to do things way better than I do. So if I thought, hey, I'm going to try to be the best organizer in the whole world, that would be extremely daunting because I just don't think I could get there given the other skills that other people have. But when I say, you know what, I think I can be best in the world at helping someone who's drowning in piles to build a command central quickly and have their mind be clear and have a system to organize anything in their lives.
Right.
I honestly
Following
believe that
these
I can be
basic
best in the
steps
world
that
at
you
that.
kind of, yes. I mean, I think if you really niche down very, very low, I think as people are getting this concept for the first time,
Okay.
using the phrase, you've got to be the best in the world at it or don't do it at all. I think 99.3% of the people will walk away saying, I'm never doing that. I couldn't be that. So I think it's figuring out, start out becoming very, very, very good. And you can keep getting better and niching down as you get better. And so you really become that expert at some point. I just think there's a lot of human blocks around being the best. There's an ego, kind of
I
a
agree.
humility thing. So I'm just trying to keep it very simple, very relatable. Because, April and her efforts here to get behind the Command Central, and she'll go more into this in just a second, but it's been, 10 plus years. I mean, her whole life, she's loved organizing and planning since she was 13. It's kind of an unnatural disorder, like we said.
Stop.
But it's her passion, right? It really is her hedgehog. She loves talking about it. She doesn't get tired of talking about it. She won't talk ad nauseum.
It energizes
to people.
me to see people getting results.
Right. I mean, she won't bore
it's-
someone to death, but if someone comes to her and says, could you give me some ideas? Could you help? It's like her playground, right? And so I think that's maybe one of the things, right? You're passionate about it. It could drive a financial engine if you're doing it from a business perspective, but you're passionate about it and it becomes your playground. You're becoming best in the world at doing it. And, Malcolm Gladwell in his book Outliers says that, for someone to become truly a master at something, it takes about 10,000 hours. Now that number sounds extremely daunting to most people. It should. It's a lot of time. I mean, it's 5 consecutive full work years, 22,000 work hours a week, working a 40-hour week each week for a year, 5 years of doing that to become mastered in something. So, April has put in pretty close to that time. We haven't really been tracking over the 10 years that she's been teaching and training or her whole lifetime. But not that you have to become that level of master, but to become a hedgehog, we want to help people identify more and more what that hedgehog principle is, that concept for them, so they can go deeper and start putting in the time. And the time doesn't feel like a task or a chore, right?
No.
It becomes exciting because you love getting better, learning how to do things with more ability, and then helping people as you're doing it.
But it's a process of editing. We had Greg McKeown on our podcast, and we love the book Essentialism. And when you try to do too many things simultaneously,
For sure.
you just can't be good at any of them. So when I actually went through this process, trying to identify what my hedgehog was, I sat down and I said, well, what do I think I could be best in the world at doing? Now, I was niching down. I wasn't saying, hey, I could be best at everything in the world, but I had 3 or 4 areas that I thought, well, I could really pursue this. I think I could be great at X, Y, Z. And I had this whole list, but I had to look at that list and say, if I had to pick one, what is it that I would really want to say with my life? And there can be different facets to it, but being able to edit your life and focus on what really is essential, I think that's huge. Eric had a friend who's wanting to start a business and kind of branch out on his own, and Eric talked with him about the hedgehog concept. And then he kept texting and saying, I'm trying to find my groundhog, right?
It's a running joke. It's either a hedgehog or a prairie dog or a groundhog.
And then one time he found a toupee, and he put the toupee on his head because he's kind of balding. And he took a picture and he's like, look, I found my groundhog.
I'm like, good. Enjoy that groundhog. Not sure what you'll do with it, but enjoy that groundhog.
But if you want to go deeper, get the book Good to Great, listen to that. Or you can even just Google hedgehog concept, and there's some diagrams and things like that.
We might be able to link
Jim
to a few
Collins put
articles,
together,
in Arise, just kind of to point, because that's what we want Arise to do, is be a very simple place for you to find resources that go even deeper on the things that we're talking about, if they're of interest to you, right? It's this curated community to be able to help people go deeper on the things that resonate with them and ignore or go past the other stuff that doesn't resonate with them.
All right, we're going to move on to the third suggestion that you could try out to help you to anchor, and it's to create a little note called Daily Reminders. Now, I keep mine inside of Evernote. You could do this in a notes app. You could do it on a little sheet of paper. You could have a file folder. I mean, it really doesn't matter what it looks like.
One of the good things, though, about a digitally based note is you can set a reminder for it to pop up for you each day at a certain time of day.
And it's easy to
so
edit.
it becomes a daily reminder,
and you can
right?
add photos, and you can add audios. You can do a lot with that.
Again,
so,
not to make it too complicated.
Not to make it too complicated. It's just a
Simple
piece of paper,
reminder.
fine.
It can pop up. I'm just trying to put it in a place that will pop up because, again, we're busy, and if it's a digital and it pops up for you and says, hey, just read over this digital note, it takes you, what, a minute to read that over each day?
Yeah, if that. It's super quick. And sometimes I don't look at it every single day, but I like knowing it's there and I at least think about it every day. So I actually create a new daily reminders note every season. And I have
What does season mean?
so like fall, winter,
Okay, just specify.
spring.
Season of my life.
Season.
Like-
So I like, well, because in the summer, I
like
feel like
every
when I've
3
got all the
months, every
kids
3
home,
months or
every
so.
3 months, yes. So quarterly and however you want to say it, but every season I do change my note. And I add to it throughout the season. So when I hear a quote that really resonates with me, or when I go to a conference and I realize, oh, that's a big weakness of mine, I'm going to change that around. Or if I am having a scripture study or prayer and I feel like, oh, that's an insight or a direction from God that I'm going to put in there. Or if I'm drawing out my goals and I want to take a picture of those and put them in. But I put the ideas inside of this note that remind me of my purpose and my mission, and that also addresses some of the areas where I'm weak and helps me remember what I do have control over and what I have power to do.
Or not to get discouraged when you feel those weaknesses come on or pop up.
Yeah, and like I even have one that said, April, if you don't feel like reading this right now, you're probably hormonal. Just take a break today.
But you should also put in, but these things are still true, and when you feel better, these things will still be true, so come back and read them, right? It's just this idea of keeping
Yeah.
ourselves centered, grounded, focused, and moving forward, even on a rough day.
This simply is one note or one little area where you could go and be reminded of who you are and why you're here and what you're doing and what you're excited about and how you're going to stay on course. And now I don't know why it happens, but even after I create this, I just have a tendency to doubt myself or feel afraid or feel worried. But when I can open up my note and I can see who I am and who I'm fighting for and all of these things that I've discussed, these words of encouragement are coming from myself. And because I know myself so well and you know yourself so well, you know what you need to hear on those hard days.
Well, I think, we talked about before, it's a reminder of who you are and who you're working to become, right? Because, we'd mentioned you have a tendency to forget. I think one of the most important words in language, English or other language, is the word remember, right? If we really did a better job of remembering, really who we are, what we're about, and what we're trying to move toward. Because the distractions and the overwhelm of daily life, the world is built really well to overwhelm us, to cause us to forget, right? To cause us to have too much coming at us. But a simple mechanism like this, or other things we can talk about as we go through Arise, it's going to help us remember. Because when you remember, you're brought right back to the foundation you need to build from and keep building on. And it's a powerful thing.
There's a tendency to think, well, my life is hard right now, so I'll think about anchoring once things get better. I know that there have been times in my life where I thought that, like, oh, once we achieve this goal, or once we do this, or once this isn't a problem anymore, then I'll really start thinking about my future. I know that we have a lot of people in our community who are dealing with heavy things right now.
Really heavy things.
And I mean, we have people going through divorces. We have people who are dealing with family members who are maybe having mental health issues, or maybe you're experiencing mental health issues. There's a lot of depression and anxiety, maybe financial issues, maybe abusive relationships, feeling weighed down. I mean, we get a lot of very personal emails from people who are sharing, like, I'm going through this right now. I even got to speak with one of our community members the other day who recognized us from the website and came up to us and was talking and just sharing what she was going through. And I mean, I feel so much love and compassion, and I don't always understand the details because my challenges are different than your challenges are. But what I will say is that whether you're in a horrible situation right now, or whether you're in a great situation right now and you're just looking for ways to move forward, taking a few moments and making it a priority to anchor is essential at every step.
Right, because you can anchor in the midst of the bad times and the hard times, and you can anchor in the middle of the good times. And just realize, I think, all of us realize as life goes on, life ebbs and flows, right? There are good times that'll be with us, and there are hard times that'll come upon us. But being anchored and anchoring in the moment, like, no one is in a place right now, like, you are not in a place where you couldn't anchor right now and start putting down some of these foundations that are going to help to solidify and strengthen you through this difficult time, or if you're in a great time right now, it's going to keep you tethered and grounded to what you are and what you want to stay true to when those difficult times come up.
I believe that each of us can identify our values. We can find our hedgehog. We can set up a daily routine where we remind ourselves how incredible the opportunity is for us to get to live and to serve and create a life where, at least mostly every day, we will wake up excited.
Not every day,
and go
but
to bed
most
content.
days. And that really is a major premise for us. I've loved it. It's a phrase April came up with that we use quite often now, is we want to help people. We don't have all the answers. We don't think we know everything, but we want to be able to put resources together in a collaborative, supportive community that really is going to help us wake up most every day excited and go to bed at the end of those days content, feeling satisfied, like we fulfilled our purpose, we're moving closer to our ideals. We don't have to have had a perfect day or a perfect life, but little by little we're growing and we're becoming what we want to become.
I am really, really excited about everything that's coming this year at Learn to Become.
It's going to be awesome.
It is scary, I'll just say that, because I feel like I'm ready to step more fully into my hedgehog.
In your notes, you wrote, I feel like I am just now stepping into my hedgehog and my true purposes. I'm not sure any hedgehog would appreciate that. She's stepping into knowing and focusing on what that hedgehog concept is, because hedgehogs are tiny. You might squish or kill the poor hedgehog. So we don't encourage anyone to step into any hedgehogs.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Now, I will also say
We'll come back now to a serious
Oh my
note.
gosh.
We're meant to have fun in these recordings.
I know, but you always make fun of me.
No, you can make fun of me. People want to laugh.
Well, I let Eric know. I'm like, I feel like part of our family culture is making fun of mom. And Eric just
lovingly
said,
teasing
he's
the
like,
mom.
but you just set it up for us.
Oh my gosh.
So often.
I feel like I am just now stepping into my hedgehog.
You didn't even have to read that out loud.
It's like a little compact car you drive around.
But this is not easy for me or for Eric. I mean, getting out there and starting to really live your mission, more fully live your purpose, to think bigger.
Like, we know there's a huge community of awesome people at Learn to Become. You're listening to this because you're one of those people, and we want to be able to gather those people together, not because we have all the answers, like I've said, or because we have a flawless, perfect life. We don't. We have plenty of warts and bumps and wrinkles and things we're trying to work on as well. But we get really excited when we have these interactions in person or via email or social media with members of this Learn to Become community. They're just coming together, not because it's about us, but it's because there's a community forming that we can really, really figure out how to grow together. And that's what I think, it is scary, because we're out there putting ourselves out there. You're putting yourself out there as well. And there are going to be these connections that happen as we're able to really relate and share ideas. Like, one of the things I'm really excited about is, you are going to share your ideas for what you want your ideal life to look like. And you might have some needs or some questions. And someone else will be part of this Arise community or Learn to Become and be able to say, you know what, I have those same questions and here's how I answered them.
Yeah.
Best practices, best ideas are going to get shared left and right in this community. And it's going to be awesome, because all of us are going to get so much better off, faster, and in a better direction. So it's a little scary to kind of create this community, because it's going to be about the community coming together and being strong, growing together. And there's a lot of unknowns, a little fear that you could feel, but we just know, like, as we do this, I think everyone who's collectively engaged in this is going to be better off.
Well, even though
Including us.
sometimes it does feel scary, I believe that when you walk toward the fear and you do what you're meant to do, it feels so much better than the alternative. Now, shrinking is easy. Staying in bed all day, watching Netflix or scrolling through social media, that's easy. Standing up and then standing for something and taking on a leadership role because it's what you know you're meant to do, that's not easy, but that is totally worth it. We feel so privileged to be with you and to be able to go through this process together. Eric and I have learned a lot over the 20 years that we've been married and throughout our lives, but there's a lot more that we need to learn, because the leader, the parent, the spouse, what we need to be a year from now, that requires us to grow and to learn and to stretch and to move forward on the things that might feel scary. And when you do it with a community, there's safety in numbers, really. You feel more maybe you feel a little braver because you think, well, look, other people are doing it. I could do that too. And you start to get ideas that maybe you just never had before, but have just been waiting for this opportunity.
Or the doubts and fears that you feel, you realize you're not alone. You're not the only one who feels those. And collectively, you might find better solutions and ways out of those in a better, faster way.
We would love for you to come to this podcast, learndobecome.com/episode 42. So it's just the word episode and then the number 4 and 2, and share what helps you to anchor. We would love to know, what have you done in the past, or what are you planning to do to create this really solid foundation? And we really are here, and we really are reading what you type into the comments.
We're real people.
So sometimes, I mean, we can look at the stats and see we have like thousands and thousands of downloads from the podcast. But I don't always go comment on the podcast episodes that I listen to.
But we want to encourage you to share some things.
Share it.
Tell us what has helped you to anchor now or in the past, what's been useful. And we're going to read every single one of the comments because we really want to start this element of engagement more and more with our community. It'll be here in the podcast, the comments down below. We're actually going to create an open support, a kind of an open starter group for Arise, where people can get a better idea of what the overall kind of program and community is going to be like. That's going to be another great community where we can interact with. So we want to encourage you to comment, to kind of open up and share appropriately what you feel like you want to share.
And I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Never-Ending Story.
Everybody saw The Never-Ending Story. That was a classic.
But you know that part where he's reading the book and he's up in that attic? It's right at the end and it's raining and there's thunder and lightning.
All the kingdoms are about to be destroyed. It's like all this chaos and craziness.
Like, we need a name. The princess needs a name, right?
Yes.
And he's like reading it and he's like, wait, are they talking to me? And then he goes out and he yells his mother's name and names her. I actually feel like that sometimes when I'm podcasting, because you're listening and you're like, wait, are they talking to me?
We're talking to you right now.
I don't know why I always think
Betrayal!
We're talking to you. We want you.
If you were not a child of the 80s, early 90s, we apologize for all of these Never-Ending Story references. It was a really kind of confusing movie as a kid. Haven't seen it since, but just thinking about a lot of the principles.
We need to show it to our kids.
We do.
I think they would love it. All the special effects.
Just real quick, we saw a quick video on this. The effects. Actually, the effects were not done with like whatever it is they use
computer
nowadays.
Animation and all that, yeah.
It was like literally they were tipping sets sideways and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Big fans.
We're going way too deep into Never-Ending Story. But
stop. We're talking to you.
That's the thing. I can't remember the real kid's name in the story.
I don't remember.
I don't remember what it was. But the kid sitting in the attic, the book was talking to him. And like crazy people here on this recording, we're talking to you right now because you are an individual who matters. You have hopes, dreams, ideas, a destiny, and kind of amazing things you want to fill and accomplish. So we want you to take part more and more so we can interact and have that kind of connection. So
our challenge for you is commit to anchoring. No matter where you are in your life or all the reasons why you can't or shouldn't or don't need to or whatever, take some time and commit to a life that is not drifting. And come to our podcast page if you want to leave a comment. Again, that's learndobecome.com/episode 42. And you can sign up to get on our Arise waitlist and get all the resources and the link to the Facebook group and all the stuff we're putting together at learndobecome.com/arise, ARISE.
We're excited to see you there.
Betrayal! Have a great day. We'll see you soon at learndobecome.com.